Hello and welcome to Views on News. I'm your host Rafae Iqbal, and in today's show we'll be talking about the Indian cricket team's refusal to come to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy 2025. We know that Pakistan is hosting the Champions Trophy 2025, and of course the recent development with regards to the Indian government's refusal to send its cricket team to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy this year, for the coming year. There's also chatter in Pakistan's media as well that Islamabad is preparing to withdraw from playing India in any international event. Although Pakistan took part in the T20 World Cup that was held recently in India, the Indian side continues to politicize this cricketing game. The Pakistan government has rejected any hybrid model for the Champions Trophy 2025 in light of the correspondence that was received by the ICC that was sent to the PCB. And of course, the ICC mentioned how the BCCI has raised concerns and will not be sending its team to Pakistan. And the PCB, of course, in line with the government's directions, it has rejected any hybrid model for the Champions Trophy 2025. And every time this is something that we see, that Pakistan hosts any sporting event in the country, the only team that disputes is the Indian team. Even in this Champions Trophy 2025, we have seen that all the participating teams, they are more than happy to play cricket in Pakistan and take part in this Champions Trophy. But there's only one team that has been raising its concerns. Of course, the weight of these concerns is something that the ICC is to determine. But of course, it should also come into light of the ICC that this is something that happens over and over again and is something very repetitive. We'll be deliberating on all the different aspects regarding this cricketing diplomacy and the Indian team's refusal to come to Pakistan for the Champions Trophy 2025. And of course, the attitude we have seen from the Indian side when it comes to sports and Pakistan hosting any event of international stature. Of course, in the studios, we've been joined by Syed Owais, who is a sports expert. Along with that, we've been joined by Parvez Jamil Mir, who is a senior journalist on Skype. Along with that, we've been joined by Syed, who is a sports analyst. We've also been joined by him on Skype. And on phone line, we've been joined by Mirza Iqbal Baig, who is a sports journalist, and Yasir Hameed, who is a cricketer. I'd like to thank you all for your time and being part of the conversation. I'll start off from the studios from Syed Owais. Of course, we know that Pakistan very recently went to India to play the T20 World Cup, but we see whenever any sporting event, any cricketing event happens in Pakistan, there's only one team that disputes. And of course, that's the Indian side. How would you comment on the Indian side politicizing the sport, especially when it comes to Pakistan? And they're having their concerns, even though all the other teams are more than willing to participate.
See, Rafa, it's not a new thing. I mean, from India, if you just remember on, if I just go way back when Pakistan wasn't into the isolation, if you remember, the biggest gift what Pakistan had was winning the T20 World Cup back in 2009 when we were in isolation. Winning the Champions Trophy, again, Pakistan was in isolation, and India tried the level best to get Pakistan more isolated. If you remember, once we had the Pakistan Super League first edition, they purposely had other sports that was it was a Legends League, if I'm not wrong, in Sharjah Stadium, and it was badly a flop over there. They tried to their level best to get our system flop up. So they have been trying the level best. If you just talk about the different sporting events in the world right now, because the league cricket, especially in across the globe, many of the leagues, I mean, they are handled by the honors of India. You can see many of the leagues, I mean, they have the Indian honors. Believe me, I remember, because I've been a setter for many leagues. I mean, your Pakistani coaches who are working over there, who are working I would say, even if they're in the management system, even if they're in the coaching staff, literally they get blackmailed by them by saying that if there's a league in Pakistan, for example, not Pakistan Super League, for instance, you know, there was a league called Kashmir Premier League, which was more highlighted by India. If you be a part of it, we are going to fire you from here. So that's the psychological pressure what they build on. So for me, it was a great stance for the Pakistan Cricket Board and from the Pakistan government to intervene in it and say that, okay, fine, if India does not tour to Pakistan, if ICC does change this kind of things, Pakistan won't travel, because after this you have got around 4 to 5 major events in India. You got the Women's T20 coming up, you got the Asia Cup, you got the Men's T20, a lot of things going on in India. So it would be a great stance if Pakistan needs to be rigid over here, because remember one thing, Rafae, because whatever happens, because there's a standby Sri Lanka team waiting up over here if India does not come here, but there was a news, it's not confirmed yet, what sources say that Pakistan Cricket Board have pressurized the ICC to get an answer from India that why they don't want to visit Pakistan, because the presidential security, what they have been giving up over here for any team, it does not, you don't see that in any other country. Secondly, if you talk about the ITF, the Tennis Federation, India team was here. If you talk about the MMA fighters, the Indians were here. If you talk about Kabaddi, they were here. Now, recently, the Indian brand cricket team, even they have got the visa. So, I don't think so there's any justification from the Indian national cricket team not visiting Pakistan, because a recent survey which was happened back in India, where they had a survey from a general public, and more than 75% people said that, yes, we want to see India playing in Pakistan. If you remember last time when India toured Pakistan, I remember there was some video clips from Harbhajan Singh, from Virendra Sehwag, that when they went out to shop and no one even asked them for anything, they just said, you guys are a guest. I mean, that was the hospitality what Pakistan has been doing. So I don't think so there's any kind of thing that India should just move on over here, but it's the RSS, I would say, lobby what has been damaging the sports, and this really needs to be sorted out. But it's unfortunate to say that ICC again is silent. They really need to answer this, because if you just watch out the social media right now, everyone is speaking about it, whether will it be in Pakistan or will it be in the hybrid model.
Well, that's a very important point that you raised, and I'd like to include Parvez Jamil Mir, senior journalist, in the conversation as well. Sir, cricket, it is called a gentleman's game, but we see New Delhi politicizing it and leaving no stone unturned in trying to politicize it. How do you comment on New Delhi's policies, of course, with regards to politicizing this sporting event, of course, and politicizing cricket and sports as a whole?
Well, when you speak of gentlemen, of course, it is a gentleman's game, but it's not cricket as far as India is concerned, because they're not acting in a gentlemanly manner. They're not actually, taking the true spirit of the game. I mean, what is the World Cup? What is the T20, and of course, the Champions Trophy? The whole idea of these international tournaments is to bring the countries together. Now, if you cannot bring the countries together and you put your own conditions, and particularly on the host, which Pakistan is right now, well, I don't think that's working in the right spirit of the game. So what India is doing is, as it has always done, is basically sabotage whatever Pakistan does politically, and now they have included sports in it. Now, what has sports got to do with politics? It is not the Indian players, and it is not the Indian Cricket Board. It is this junta, this political government, which is basically forcing, the Indian cricket team, not to come to Pakistan and play in it. I have played with lots of Indians, in my time in England, and we played county cricket, we played league cricket and all that, and there's no problems at all, none whatsoever. And but here, unfortunately, as much as the Indian players want to come to play in Pakistan, this Indian board, this Indian government, whoever is in power, they seem to put in a lot of spanners in the works. And I think this is something which is negative. But what I would say right now is that hats off to the chairman of the Pakistan board, Mohsin Naqvi. I think he's taken a very firm stand that, if they don't come, well, we're not going to go into a hybrid sort of an operation. Because at the end of the day, it is our tournament, we are the host, and they have to come and play in Pakistan, and we are not going out to play anywhere else. Because enough is enough. I mean, this is over 70 years. They come and they play, then they go away, then they don't want to play. I mean, what kind of a joke are they doing with cricket? Simply because they started IPL? Well, that doesn't mean they're going to be controlling. And today, it will be the litmus test when Jai becomes the chairman, of ICC, that will ICC sway to what the chairman says, or will the committee actually make the decisions in the larger interest of the game? So I think this is a developing story. But first of all, we've got to hear positively and openly in the media that India is not coming to Pakistan. Our doors are open. We gladly welcome them. And, there's been a lot of suggestions that they can, stay in and all that. But what about the rest of the teams? I mean, are they any less special than what the Indians are trying to do? I mean, we respect everybody. And India must realize that every team is coming and playing in Pakistan. Who are they? I mean, some kind of super gods, superheroes? Everybody's in the same boat, and we must respect each other as far as humanity is concerned, morality is concerned, and at the same time, the cricketing ethics are concerned. And this is what the Indian board has to understand. Well, not the Indian board, it's the Indian government which has to understand and take it further.
Well, we do hope saner voices prevail in India, of course, because there's no room for politics and, of course, agitation, politics of agitation in the world of sports. I'd also like to include Syed in the conversation when we talk about this cricketing event that is being hosted by Pakistan, the Champions Trophy 2025, and the politics that India is doing regarding this sporting event. Of course, as Parvez Jamil Mir also mentioned, ICC under Jay Shah. Of course, we know there's a factor relating to the RSS as well, and we know that, of course, when we talk about this issue, of course, on the one end it's the PCB, and on the other end there's the BCCI, and of course the ICC is going to be in a tough spot because there's a lot of teams that are happy to play in Pakistan, but there's just one team that is disputing it. Do you think ICC under Jay Shah it is going to have a challenge in being neutral and non-biased in making its decisions?
Absolutely. I think when the Jesha will be the president of the ICC, then ICC's character will be changed silently. And now we are just seeing that to what the ICC, it's inability and incompetency of the ICC, that because the ICC is the whole governing body of the cricket in the world, and if they cannot implement their decisions, Champions Trophy, it has been decided 2 years ago, and the Pakistan got the hosting of the Champions Trophy 2 years ago, and India was in the meeting, and India, they have confirmed that all the teams, they will participate in the Champions Trophy. And right now, just before 90 days, Champions Trophy to start, and India is going to refuse to come to Pakistan. It's a tactic of India. It's not new. We are seeing for last decade, we are seeing only the India is doing everything by which it can deny the Pakistan cricket to get the losses to Pakistan cricket, and everything what they can do to destroy the Pakistan cricket, they are doing. Bilateral series, if they're not playing, we don't have any objection. But the ICC, they should go very strictly about it, and they have to see why the India is not coming to Pakistan. It is because all the teams, as Mir said, that all the other teams, they are visiting Pakistan, England, Australia, West Indies, everyone is coming to Pakistan. There is no security threat. So why the Indian cricket team, they are avoiding? And still ICC's role is really unclear. They have to show their very clear vision that if India is not coming, then we will drop the India, like that they have dropped Zimbabwe in 2009 T20 World Cup. Then when the England not issued the visas to Zimbabwe cricket team, then they have dropped the Zimbabwe team and they have opted another team. So now at this moment, if India is not coming, ICC should go hard and ask them, India, if you're not coming, then we will put up Bangladesh at number 9, because the 8 teams will participate in Champions Trophy. Then Bangladesh is the next one, and they will participate. It is the time ICC should show their clear stance about this Champions Trophy. Otherwise, this problem will be continued in all other regions.
Right, Mohammed Owais, of course, I'd like to come towards you, of course. When we talk about ICC and the reforms, of course, we know that ICC and the Jay Shah, as all the panelists have also mentioned, it's going to be a challenge in maintaining neutrality. Do you think Pakistan needs to have better relations with the other cricket boards as well? Because, as you also mentioned, there's this hegemony in cricket as well, and the cricket boards, and of course the players, the coaches, all the people from Pakistan side who are part of the cricketing world. Of course, they face intimidation by the Indian side as well when it comes to cricket.
See, Rafae, there's one thing, just remember one thing: whenever a country is allotted with a major tournament, it's just not cricket. It's seen that, for instance, for cricket, I would say, it's seen that for past 1.5 years, that country has had how many major things in Pakistan. The SEO conference is something else. Obviously, it was a government level, but when you speak about the sports level, you got Pakistan, so the big teams coming up over here for football. You got the ITF, you got the MMA, like I told you, you got the Blank Cricket World Cup. Secondly, for cricket, if you speak about, every team has visited Pakistan except India. Australia, they had some issues that, just when you go way back, everyone used to say, why is Australia not visiting Pakistan? Why England is not visiting Pakistan? Australia, England on a regular basis on their visiting Pakistan. So there's a case study for you which you're representing. Obviously, you have got a strong stance over here. I remember one of our friends in our other show where we said, he even told on that day that when the England team was here in the British High Commission, and the British High Commissioner, when he was speaking to him, and Her Excellency told that our team and me, we feel literally safe over here. There's nothing, I mean, whatever the media does, I mean.
Well, the team feels safe over here. Syed Mohammed Owais will have to take a short break, but of course we'll continue from where the conversation has stopped. A safe environment in Pakistan is what we're at the moment. See you right after a short break. Well, coming back to where our conversation left off, of course, a safe environment in Pakistan, that's what you see.
Yeah, because, I mean, I remember because Her Excellency, when speaking to him, and she said that whatever it is, I'm here, my team is here. And we all right, I mean, we're happy over here, we are enjoying our cricket because the way Pakistan spectators even was supporting England. See, there are two things. What ICC really needs, I personally feel so that ICC really needs to look into. If we remember, a recent World Cup was held in India, where there were some people who actually who were just, there was slogans going on for Babar Azam, and you saw police coming up and taking them away. Same in Pakistan, there was a recent tournament going on where we had a domestic tournament, and you had a person sitting with Virat Kohli shirt. He was easy there, I mean, there was nothing to do in it. So why is that biasness over there? I mean, the ICC really needs to look into. If you have the history of cricket back in India, the first history, if you remember, Sri Lanka, South Africa team were there, the bottles were thrown to them. Unfortunately, they didn't leave the field because I know, obviously, India carries a lot of budget and anything in the league cricket. Same with England, if you remember the bombings over there, England team were there, they left that too, they went to England, they came back to play again. Why was it just for Pakistan? I mean, the isolation thing, we know what we have gone through that. Pakistan has rapidly changed that. I mean, the way we have been welcoming our supporters over here. If you just watch what the England team, remember, was here. Recently I'm talking about, before that, Bangladesh team, Bangladesh won the test series. Whatever situation was for our team, literally everyone was cheering Bangladesh, I mean, in the stadium. Like, we wanted to welcome them, I mean, because we want our heroes to play over here. If you speak to general public in Pakistan, literally they want to see Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma playing in front of them because you have got a strong fan following of Virat Kohli. But it's unfortunate, I would say, the situation right now with the Pakistan Cricket Board really needs to be, I would use a word, rigid with this, because the leagues around the world where you have got some Pakistani management, you got some Pakistani coaches working with the team, that's something else. But if the foreign players, I would say, like for instance, an Australian player is playing for any league back over there, remember one thing, the influence of Indian cricket in the leagues is much. What they do is that from the back door, they basically blackmail the player saying that your contract would be finished. If you opt for playing in Pakistan, you need to support us. So that's what I'm saying on the Pakistan Cricket Board really needs to work closely with the cricket boards. The cricket boards are in favor, what I have even been said from the ICC headquarters, but the Pakistan Cricket Board really needs to work closely with the English Cricket Board, with the Australian Cricket Board, because Champions Trophy is an event which ICC gifted Pakistan. Pakistan never wanted it. The ICC has given it. So this is the thing. Today there was a virtual logo even the ICC has displayed of Pakistan, but the ICC really needs to step in. Stop being the Indian Cricket Council. You're the International Cricket Council. You really need to step in. You need to look into this. If India not, get Sri Lanka. I know India would obviously, there's the Pakistan versus India is a big clash. I mean, everyone wants it. Media rights, you got the sponsor rights. Even the sponsors now back in India, they have told the Indian Cricket Board
it stops traffic on roads.
Even they said, if you don't have the Pakistan versus India match, we are not going to sponsor you. So everything is going on right now, but the Pakistan Cricket Board really needs to act smart. I would say they need to be rigid. They need to have that worded, and hats off to the government which has been into it, and what they have been showing on. The Pakistan really need to host this. This is a major tournament for Pakistan.
And of course, as you mentioned, the ICC also needs to realize that it has an international role to play, not just a domestic or a regional role. And of course, Parvez Jamil Mir, I'd like to ask you a question as well, as since we're talking about the reasons that the Indian side has given. Of course, if there is security concerns, we know that Pakistan, of course, there was an episode with Mubarak Hussain Patel, and of course, there were a lot of other events as well that point fingers towards India. Pakistan is also, of course, and the Five Eyes, the countries of that, they have also said that India is involved in extrajudicial killings on their soil as well. With regards to Pakistan's security concerns, of course, India being one of those elements that does give rise to the security issues Pakistan is facing. At the same time, they raise these concerns when Pakistan is, of course, hosting any international cricketing event. It is the same country that said Pakistan is facing diplomatic isolation, but it is the same country that had to come to Pakistan to attend the SCO summit, which is, of course, which is a testament to how Pakistan is very successful on its diplomatic front. How do you comment on all these issues, of course, with regards to the security issue that India raises, and of course its own involvement in giving rise to that issue?
Well, first of all, I think India hasn't come to terms that it is actually one of the largest democracies in the world. And that is a very, very sad sort of a state of affairs which we see. Secondly, India is one of those countries which is carrying the longest conflict in the contemporary political history of the world, the Kashmir issue. Then on top of that, what it does is it antagonizes all our artists. They go to New Delhi, they go to Bombay, and they are booed and they are cheered. We've seen with like Rahat Fateh Ali Khan with the Sachal music and so many other artists what they do. Then on top of that, when their artists and big names, film stars and other celebrities come to Pakistan, they're treated like demigods. They're respected, and they go back and give the finest reports anyone give for any country. Now, what are we seeing here? That India is actually mixing politics with cricket. Well, we've got differences. There's no doubts about it. But these differences remain on one fence. On the other side of the fence, when we start playing, well, why do we need to bring politics in it? The players are not interested whether it's India or whether it is Pakistan. They're not interested in politics. Politics is a separate domain. And this is where we need a good dissection. And like I said earlier, enough is enough. 74 years of this is continuing, and every time they try to demean us, they try to put us down, and basically what they do is insult us. I think it is enough. If they don't want to play, well, frankly, we don't want to play either, and that's the name of the game. And ICC, like what we're talking about, has to define its role. That whether it is an ICC for India or it is an ICC for the international cricketing world. And that is the role we need to be seeing from India, from the ICC. So ICC has to come out with a clear statement that, okay, if you've got hesitations and problems, we've done it in the past, we played in the Middle East, in Sharjah and all, well, it's not going to happen now. Pakistan is the host. You don't want to go, we'll bring in somebody else. Whether it's Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, we'll do that. So this is the position right now. And, well, what can you expect from India except negativity? You go outside the White House, I've seen it myself. That's where they propagate, all kinds of negativity. And, they do it outside the United Nations in Geneva. So they'll continue doing it. And again, I say, there are a lot of good Indians, lots of good Indians, who'd like to see that, the two countries start playing. But these, like I said, this junta, this negative, the government, which is holding the entire Indian, people as hostage, are something they're destroying the very fabric of the game. They're destroying the very nature of the game. I mean, what is their problem? Please tell me. If India doesn't come and Pakistan, India don't play, it'll be the biggest loss for the sponsors. The biggest loss. And, and they'll be responsible. We are not responsible. We are absolutely not responsible for whatever damages India brings to the game. Because it is it is India, and they've got to, get their act together and start thinking more positive than anything else. And I'm sure rest of the world, rest of the cricketing playing countries will favor Pakistan because they're the hosts. And don't do it. You're not destroying our relations. You're destroying the very fabric of the game at international level. Period.
Right, And Mr. Mir, I'd also like, because you're a senior journalist, and of course, you've seen how sports diplomacy works throughout the world. You know how the relationship has between Pakistan and India, and you also, as we all know, it's a fact that whenever Pakistan hosts such a big international event, there's only one side, the Indian side, that disputes it. And of course, do you think it's high time that Pakistan should compile a policy to deal with India with regards to the cricketing and the sporting events? Of course, because this is something that keeps on happening with every event. Do you think a permanent policy should be established by the Pakistan side for this?
The permanent strategy or policy is tit for tat. Simple as that. You come to us, we go to you. You insult us, we don't even want to talk to you. That's the policy we need to adapt. Look, we are a sovereign nation and we respect everybody. And if nobody wants to respect or doesn't feel like respecting us, well, thank you very much. We don't need to see you. We don't need to play with you. That's the end of the story. So it's simple and dry. I remember the last time our former chairman, Zaka Ashraf, was in India, and he had a meeting with Jai Shah. And I was in Islamabad at that time with the minister, Al-Bazari, and we got the reports that India is coming to Pakistan, Jai will visit Pakistan, and so on and forth. And then after 3 days, they denied the whole thing. They denied the whole thing. That, they didn't even speak to the chairman like that. So they're very well versed by giving one statement and retracting it in the next few minutes or few hours. So, and it's only, like I said, because his father, is going to be the chairman and all. I don't know. They'll toe the government policy, and it's entirely up to Mr. Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, that he's got to intervene in the larger interest of the game if he feels like it. If he doesn't, well, good night, sir, and goodbye. And that's the way Pakistan's policy has to continue. We cannot take it anymore. And like I said before, hats off to the chairman, Mohsen Naqvi, for taking a very firm stand. And this is the period. We need to be taking a firm stand. Enough is enough. We can't just go, tomorrow, all right, we'll go and play in Sharjah or Dubai. No, enough is enough. Why do we need to, let our people be away from the cricket which it deserves? And that's it. Period.
Definitely. Thank you, Mr. Parvez Mir. Of course, I'd like to include comments from Syed as well. Syed, of course, we heard what Mr. Parvez Jamil Mir had to say. And of course, do you think Champions Trophy minus India could happen, of course, with ICC under Jai Shah? Because, of course, enough is enough. This is something that happens repetitively, and it is something that happens every time when Pakistan hosts a major event. And, of course, there's only one country that disputes it.
Yeah, I think ICC should go forward. ICC should think about it. All other countries, what they are doing, really, it's unbelievable, unacceptable what England and Australia, they are totally silent about it, the Champions Trophy. It's not only the Champions Trophy, it's actually the cricket. And if you are silent against such things of happening from the India, and if you're not reacting at the right time and right moment, then it means that you are supporting to such people, such movement from the India. So I think it's not fair for the cricket. What we can see in the future that if at this moment these countries, all other countries, they will not talk about that. If the India is not going to an event that ICC is organizing, that then it will be an example for the future. Unfortunately, in past we have done also mistake that in the Asia Cup. Why we have compromised for the hybrid model? If we should have refused to Asian Cricket Council that hybrid model will not be accepted, then today our stance could be more stronger than what we are doing. This is unfortunately our management in the Pakistan Cricket Board. They are so flexible. In 2011 World Cup, they have got the money, they have got their share, and they have gone back from the hosting of the World Cup. This is the major problem that if we are firm to our words and we are firm to our policies, then definitely the other all rest world, they will follow us. But now at this moment, what the PCB is doing, it's correctly, it's in the right direction. They are giving very strong message to the ICC, but ICC is not reacting. This is surprise for me. For all the cricket, what is surprise? Why the ICC is not giving a reaction, and they are not going to manage. They have to call immediately a board of governors meeting. They have to put up this matter in the board of governors meeting that India is trying to destroy all the event of the ICC, and it will be a big monetary loss for the ICC, for the cricket, for all the projects. It is not only the money which is coming to the Pakistan, but it will be distributed in all the members of the ICC. So it's a big thing. It's not a small thing. They have to understand. And secondly, I would say that if they have the Pakistan Cricket Board announced that if the India will not come in the Champions Trophy, then they will not play anywhere against India, then it will be a big loss for the broadcasters. Because all the broadcasters, they want to see the Pakistan and India in a stadium together, and they are making money from them. In the last World Cup in India, they were making some problems for the Pakistan cricket team, but they have organized Pakistan-India match in the largest, biggest stadium in Ahmedabad. Why? Because they know that this match will create all the revenue. In the last T20 World Cup in New York, Pakistan-India match, only the one match, they have covered all the expenses of the T20 World Cup. This is Pakistan-India match is very, very big than all other things. And if the Pakistan will go hardly and will show that they will not play anywhere against India, then definitely India will go down. They will come to Pakistan and they will play in Pakistan because there is no security threats, there is no security issues, nothing is at this moment, and but ICC should hard for it because it's an event of ICC. It is not Pakistan event. So ICC should show their firm agreement with the cricket that we are against all those people who are spoiling the cricket, who are spoiling the cricket management. We are against them, and they have to show. And all other countries, England, Australia, South Africa, they have to show unity with the Pakistan that if India will not come, then even will go further, and any other team will be opted in the Champions Trophy.
Syed, I'd also like your thoughts. Of course, we mentioned and we talk about India's fascism in the game, but of course India's fascism in politics as well. And this is a time when it gets exposed in front of the world that it is not just the Hindutva ideology, but it comes up in everything, even in areas such as sports. How do you think India is being exposed with its Hindutva and hegemonic designs and fascist designs when it comes to its policies of such hatred towards Pakistan, even relating to sports? And of course, reforms within the ICC, which are much needed considering India has been trying to, India has been trying to ruin all these important events for the ICC.
Once more and more. Definitely, they are providing a lot of revenue, a lot of money from Indian companies, but it is a business. It's not from India. India is not giving for any. They are not giving any donation to ICC. Just they are earning something from the ICC, from the cricket, and so therefore they are sponsoring. And it's a routine in the world. If in any US company or a British company is sponsoring any sports in the world, it doesn't mean that they should have more influence in the sports events. India cannot say that if we are providing more revenue, more finance from the India, so therefore we have more rights. No, it's not fair. And Pakistan-India treaty in the cricket is always a very good example for the relations, for the friendships. I have met a lot of people in India. I have met a lot of Indian cricketers. They want to play against Pakistan. They want to come to Pakistan. They love to play in Pakistan. Once in 2004 or 5, when India visited Pakistan, Rahul Dravid, Sachin Tendulkar, Sehwag, all the players, Ganguly, they were very keen to play in Pakistan. So politics, it's just another thing. I think Indian government should exclude the politics from cricket, and they have to give free hand to the BCCI. Anywhere you want to go and play, if we have some political issues with the Pakistan, we will solve any other platform. But the sports and cricket should free from any type of the politics. It's very necessary, not only for the sports, but also it is necessary for the human being in the world if you want a good and peaceful world.
Definitely, and a peaceful world is what is needed at the moment in such times of heightened tensions and conflicts. Syed Mohammed Owais, of course, what are your opinions on, of course, ICC under the J-Shah and, of course, the problems that we're seeing in international cricket?
Oh, so there's going to be an interesting thing because in December, J-Shah takes as the chairman of ICC, and there are some changes even in the ICC that before that it used to be a 2-year tenure. Now it's going to be 3-year tenure. So obviously Pakistan was in that voting process, and I personally feel one thing, that J-Shah, something might be going on in his mind that when I come as a chairman, and I just sit on that seat and say that, okay, fine, India is going to be coming to Pakistan, it is because of me, to just get himself strong in the ICC chamber, what I feel so. Secondly, the biggest thing is that Mohsin Naqvi, the chairman of Pakistan Cricket Board, is going to be the president of the ACC, the Asian Cricket Council.
Right.
So that's the thing I'm saying on. It's going to be an interesting thing because when it's about the Asia, the series being played in Asian countries, I mean, it's under the ACC.
Right.
The Asian Cricket Council is under ACC. I mean, the Asia Cup I'm talking about. That's where Pakistan-India bilateral series obviously will be on the table. I mean, we need to get that done. So it's the thing what the ICC really needs to look into. I mean, because they really need to sort this thing because it has been so many years. If you just remember, just not Pakistan, even Australia, England even have offered that. Just come over here, play test series. I mean, because they know what revenue you would obviously get from Pakistan, India. But it's going to be a tricky situation. But again, I would say, Rafae, we need to understand the Pakistan Cricket Board really needs to work closely with the cricket boards, like I mentioned earlier, because blackmailing obviously will be there from Indian cricket, but you really need to work closely with the different cricket boards to get this thing back to track for Pakistan Champions Trophy.
Right, and as you also mentioned, the Asia Cup and the Asian cricket in comparison with international cricket, do you think a hybrid model could work in international cricket as it did in the Asia Cup?
See, if you remember, because I told you, you have got all the case studies. The Asia Cup, which was going to be scheduled in Pakistan, unfortunately, due to India, they had to schedule back in the hybrid model in Sri Lanka, and it was a big disaster. If you remember, the rains and all that disrupted the matches. In Pakistan, even you had the full crowd over here. Everyone was there to watch the match. There was no rain disruption back in Sri Lanka. Even the crowd wasn't there. Rain disruption did occur there. So that's the biggest, I would say, the financial losses were there. And it was the biggest study for India, even for the ACC, to understand that the hybrid model does not work. I still feel, the hybrid model is done when there's some issue going on in a country.
Exactly.
Everyone is here. Every sport is being played over here. I told you because, you got the Australian team over here. You got just recently the England team was here. You will have the Tri-Nation series over here when Pakistan, South Africa are going to play over here with New Zealand. Everything is going on okay. What is the problem with one nation? I mean, why don't they want to come over here in Pakistan to play? I mean, I told you, like everyone, if you just go out in the streets of Pakistan and just have a pool and everyone wants India to play over here, you have got a major fan following of Virat Kohli over here, Rohit Sharma, everyone wants to see them. Even if you just, the video clips coming up of the players, because wherever they are, and some fans just ask them, the Indian cricketers I'm talking about, whether do you guys want to play in Pakistan? They literally say, yes, we want to play in Pakistan. But the thing is that the RSS ideology, the government, I mean, that's the biggest issue over there. Hats off to the Pakistan government, because even the Honorable Prime Minister is going to have a meeting on this. And this is really a thing what Pakistan now needs to take in. I mean, if they don't come here, Pakistan needs to be with a strong stance. Okay, fine, if you're not coming up over here, whatever major tournaments in India, we're going to be boycotting it, we won't be there.
So it's safe to call India a black sheep in the cricketing world,
Yes.
of course. Wes, there's another question that comes to mind. Of course, Pakistan and Australia series, it's happening. Pakistan clinched the ODI series and now the T20 is going to start. Pakistan performed exceptionally well in this series, the ODI series. Do you think that has a factor to play? Of course, there's reports going on in the Pakistani media as well that India might be afraid to face Pakistan. And that's why they're not opting to come.
See, one thing is good that the Australians were badly bashed in the ODI series, and everyone has an eye on India, what they will do there, because even the Gavaskar Trophy starts up test day. But one thing I'll let you know that, Rafi, if you just go through Michael Clarke, who was the ex-captain of Australia, one of the biggest names, I would say, just not Jason Gillespie, the head coach of Pakistan. Even Michael Clarke has criticized Australia regarding the Pakistan one-day match series, because important series against Pakistan, and they wanted the main players to rest for the Gavaskar Trophy against India. and it did go against them, because if you just go through the first match, what I thought the mindset of Australians was that winning the first match, they thought that Pakistan would be under pressure, clinch the second match, and that's it. It's a serious win for us. But Pakistan just turned the table around for that. Tomorrow's match is going to be played at Perth, the T20 match, which starts at 1 p.m. It's an important match for T20 again. You have got some new players being included in the Pakistan team. I would love to watch Sahibzada Farhan, because he's the guy who has been consistently performing well for KP in the domestic structure, performed well in the domestic structure. I know it would be tough to fit him in the opening department, because what I see, Rizwan and Babar getting back into the form. One good thing is that Shaheen Shah Afridi being #1 bowler, again he's a #1 ranked bowler. Babar Azam being #1 ranked batsman again in the ODI. Pakistan coming back to position at #3 in the ODI ranking. So it's a good thing going on for Pakistan. But one bad news for Pakistani fans, because it's going to rain in Perth, in Sydney tomorrow. So I hope so that does not spoil the match, because there was a news coming up. A fan of a Pakistani guy, he literally bought around 500 tickets for Pakistani fans to just get them to the stadium and watch. That's what Pakistanis are told you. Wherever you go overseas, literally you get an electrifying crowd of Pakistan, and that's the beauty of Pakistani. I mean, because that's the thing I'm saying on the ICC has got everything. India really needs to be in Pakistan.
Well, that's the beauty of sport. Of course, there's one question that comes to mind, and it'll be the final question. Of course, as Parvez Jamil Mir also mentioned, back in 2009 World Cup, of course, when England refused to give visas to Zimbabwe, and of course, Netherlands was included in the team. Do you think something similar could happen in this situation?
See, I mean, I told you, because obviously you go through the rankings of when you play the ICC Champions Trophy, your top 8 teams, I mean, they play the Champions Trophy. So the 8th team, if India does not come, so the 8th team, what comes in your mind is Sri Lanka. Obviously, they're standing up over there because they didn't qualify, so they would be there. Pakistan has got everything. Obviously, Pakistan has written to the ICC. ICC has written to the BCCI. They're just waiting for that. What is an issue? I mean, because obviously they need to answer that. Why didn't you want to visit Pakistan? At least they need to just let that letter be there. The questions what they are going to be facing up. But for me, I personally I feel that India would be visiting. I told you, because Jay Shah would be a trump card when he would be the chairman of ICC. Obviously, what I told, I mean, because the thing what I see is that I know he might be playing a diplomacy that once he's the chairman of ICC, to show everyone that, see, I'm the chairman and I've convinced India to be over here. Because the biggest thing, Rafae, see, it's just not about the events. I mean, the foreign minister was here for the SU conference. And while departing, he had a tweet, I mean, saying that Pakistan hospitality and everything, he said that was beautiful. He's over here. He has no issue. What is an issue with you guys? I mean,
definitely, that's a very important point that you raised. Of course, and the foreign minister, the external affairs minister, he went back and received very great hospitality here in Pakistan. Syed Owais, thank you for your time and being part of the conversation. That was a very important points that were raised here. And the beauty of cricket, of course, it stays away from politics. It stays away from everything that divides humans, and it is a sport that brings everyone together and unites them with the passion of cricket. And of course, India, we hope saner voices prevail there, and of course they stop politicizing this sport and send the Indian team to play the Champions Trophy 2025. As all the other participating teams, they are more than happy to play cricket in Pakistan. I'd like to thank all of our panelists, Parvez Jamil Mir, senior journalist, Syed Haider, sports analyst, and Syed Owais, sports expert. Thank you all for your time and being part of the conversation. Of course, that wraps up Views on News for today. See you same time tomorrow. Till then, take care.